This is Listening with Franklin Livingston, and our guest is Jason Lamberth.
I was so green when I came to New York. I just didn't know anything. I was so naive. I didn't know anything about anything really, and I hadn't really traveled much. I went to San Francisco maybe, and that was it. I mean, our vacations were at the farm, and then so I didn't have a whole bunch of traveling or a whole bunch of experience. So me going to New York was very exotic, for my family and I just came up here, got a job as a waiter because that's kind of what the narrative was, the cliche, like he's a waiter. Oh, what? Yeah, okay. He must be an actor. And my first job was at Tavern on the Green, which was very dramatic. There was all these movie premieres there. I met Al Pacino, all of them, Jack Nicholson, all these. So for me, it was like, wow, I'm in the right place. Like I'm meeting all these things, and it's like, oh, this is all working out just great. And then eventually I got into Rutgers, and I was like, okay, this is a done deal. And, so my calling shifted to that. Yeah. I feel like now I have a completely different relationship to calling, but again, it's the same thing as having a relationship with Santa. It's different when you're 9 than when you're 59.
Right. But so would you say you were still in your own belief system very close to God the way you used to be, or it became more spiritual rather than a performance of praying?
It was becoming more spiritual, but that's been a process. I think religion is literal. And then as you kind of work your way through it, it becomes
subjective.
Yeah. Yeah. But some people stay in the literal mode their whole life.
Yeah, they do.
And
it works for them.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with it. And I don't judge. I think the whole don't judge people unless you're going to be judged. Like basically, like if you think that they're wrong, you're going to be in that soup. You're going to be eating the same soup. You're going to be eating the wrong soup.
Right.
Even because you're the judge of them being. And how do you know it's wrong? I mean, there's a whole backstory that you don't know.
Right.
You don't know the backstory.
Right. I mean, I've heard from some people, and I was in the same phase at a couple of points in my life, where structure helps. So some people, for example, I know people who would say, I'm going to go to the mass every day.
Yeah.
Because it helps them. They don't at 5:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they can shut down or try to shut down their mind there.
Yeah.
So it works for them.
Yeah.
Who are we to judge? You're right. But in general, I was just asking your belief system, some sort of belief system for accountability and checks and balances on your own life. Now you were away from your parents, was there, or just like, gone.
Yeah.
No, I am a free spirit and a free world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying. I mean, it's kind of. I don't want to have all these long-winded answers because I think it's. Yeah, I don't want to seem like I'm this complicated kind of thing, but I definitely have given a lot of thought to it, and I have worked it kind of out for myself. I think. To have a lot of the subjective treasures. To discover them, you have to go through a lot of objective disciplines, and I do think there's value in going to church every week. Now, at that point, my parents and me thought we had to go, otherwise God wouldn't bless us. That's what you're supposed to, you go. But now I don't look at it in terms of that. I look at it in terms of you go because you have to hear these things so often to where it becomes natural to you. It becomes like when you're learning an instrument, you keep playing the scales, and then eventually you can play Beethoven. And I think that's the same way with some of the disciplines. So now I read the Bible every day, and I'm kind of like, I'm my own church. I'm always kind of looking at it from a subjective level.
Your own what was the time I was in denomination?
Yeah.
So I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah,
I think that's great, because all these people who started these movements, Martin Luther, John Wesley, John Calvin, I might have forgotten other guys, but they had the same thing going on. They did not agree with a few things, and they were like, okay, what if? Let me give you an alternative perspective. And that's great. That's great. So when did this shift, another shift, furniture? So you're in the acting world, and you look at celebs, you met them, and you're really like having an A-list type life, Rutgers. Then when furniture came in?
So I went to Rutgers, and I got married just about the same time. So I was young. When I went to Rutgers, I was 24, and she was 21, and we got married, and she was still in school in Manhattan. She was a fashion designer.
29th Street, 7th Ave?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to pick her up there. But I commuted to Rutgers, which is an hour and a half away from Manhattan, and I'm in grad school. And I got into grad school before I had my undergrad, so I had to finish my undergrad and grad school at the same time. And plus, drama there's a lot. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. And then when I got out, it was me and my wife opened a store, and then I didn't act for forever until just recently. Pardon?
Where was this store?
We lived in Soho.
Okay.
So we lived on Thompson Street, and it was on Sullivan Street. So it was all in the neighborhood, and we had that for 6 years. And
what did you guys sell?
It was fashion. It was young women's fashion, but very casual and cool. And she was a fashion designer, and it was. We had 6 years. I mean, it was, and then she got into the corporate world. She went on to be design director at big companies, but what was the question again? I got there because
the shift to furniture design.
Right. Okay. So after she got into the corporate world, I'm not a fashion designer, so I was like, well, what am I going to do? And we had been making our clothes in Indonesia because a friend of ours said, look, why do you produce it here? Why don't you produce it there? That's how the whole Indonesian connection came. So we were going there to do our production. And as I was going there and I saw these beautiful furniture, I was like, gosh, that'd be a dream to send some of that stuff back or be, and I just had this dream, but nothing. And then when she got the job, I was like, well, maybe I'll send some of that stuff back and see how it goes. And that's what I did. I sent some back. I did a mostly small gift item type things, and with some furniture, and I sent it back. And then there was this Christmas market that I did for a month on 14th Street and in Union Square, and I made a lot of money. And that's how I was just like, wow, it's just coming in. Then I decided, okay, I want to do more. And then we had a child, and then I realized, okay, I've got to really get good at this. So then I got a job at a furniture manufacturer and in Manhattan, and I got introduced to this whole other world I didn't know anything about. Interior designers, architects. I did Tracy Chapman, she was a pop star, fast car. She's won Grammys and stuff, and all these celebrities. And I was doing their homes, and I learned the business, and I knew how to do all of this stuff. And I also was working in the wood shop with the people, so I was working on design.
Oh, sorry, wood shop was in Indonesia or here?
It was here,
Okay.
yeah. And then I just paid attention, and 10 months after that, I opened my own business, and
that was in Manhattan.
that was in Manhattan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then my first client was Steven Spielberg. It's a true story. That was the very first client I had. I thought, well, this is auspicious. This is a good sign.
Right.
And
You didn't share with him, hey, I'm an
I didn't
actor,
meet. I didn't meet him. I met his wife,
Hmm.
and she flew over on the private jet,
Hmm.
and that was just very, very cool. And I got bitten by the bug. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Right.
change the world
Hmm.
so my calling changed to that.
Yeah.
And then I did that for, I opened my business in 2000 and until now, so 25 years. And then did all these houses in the Hamptons and stuff like that. And then we moved to, my ex-wife is a Berliner, so we moved to Berlin. And that's
And this is the ex-wife was the same woman you met when she was 21.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We were
Yeah.
married for 19 years, and
Hmm.
we were together in total 22 years.
And the child, the first child you had was in the city?
Actually, interestingly enough, the first child we had in Berlin, because we went there. My ex-wife's mother died, and we decided we went back, and then we decided to stay there and just try it out. And eventually, we stayed a year and decided not to stay, but we had her there. We had the first child in Berlin, and then the second child we had in New York. Yeah. And the second child was 6 years later. So we had the first one, and then 6 years later, we had the second one.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, in that time when you were here, before moving to Germany,
Mm.
what was the most strongest belief or system that kept you together in terms of your business and wife and the child?
Well, I mean, my ex-wife was a very good person, and she wasn't a Christian or anything like that, and like I was. Her grandfather was a pastor in a very famous church in Berlin. It's the church that got bombed, and it's a symbol of, like, when people think of it, it's a icon. This church, it's half of the steeple is blown off, and he was the pastor of this church, and so she kind of grew up in it. But in Germany, like, they don't really, nobody goes to church in Berlin, in
Right.
Germany anymore. And if you do, it's because you have to go because of some whatever, but you just don't go. So she kind of grew up in that environment. And when I came along, I'm like, yeah, but we're going to go to church, because I was still going to church. And when we got married in the city, there was a Baptist church that I went to. And so we
You didn't force her to get baptism?
I didn't force her, but in a way, I forced her. In a way,
No,
it was
I
kind of
mean,
like,
that was a joke. But
No,
you'd be
but-
like,
no,
hey,
but-
you're going to go to hell.
yeah. I mean, in a way, I did. In a way, I did. And like, hey, this is what we got to do. But she was okay with it, because she came from I don't like that term, but broken home. Her parents were divorced, and it wasn't pretty. And so she kind of grew up with that kind of idea of family, and I grew up in a completely other kind of family. Like, we ate dinner together. We did all this stuff together. We all loved each other, and she didn't have that experience. So and I think she wanted that experience. And I think and of course, we were both in love, and I think I'm like, okay, let's go to this. I didn't really force it on her, but I think it was implied that this is how it's going to happen. This is what we got to do. But eventually, we stopped going. But that was after 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
And so you were very closer to your faith, or you held it.
I mean, I think
while going through all these phases of Rutgers and furniture.
Yeah. I don't really define my faith as if I go to church or not.
No. In terms of having a personal, awareness, connection, like the religious language will be not in every denomination, but still having a personal relationship with God.
Yeah.
And seeking truth or building yourself up. And then you are also a kingdom builder. Because that's the calling. You already know that. I'm just trying to also, because of our audience, that when we use the term calling, and our greater calling is there, which is to build up the kingdom, which we do through our actions and words or with people around us. You were already engaged in that, but I just wanted to hear that from you in front of the camera.
I mean, I definitely feel like I follow the pattern of my father, which is he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is what the male in the family does, is you get things organized and you get people to go, and you organize them to go to church. And that's kind of the way I felt like, look, if we're going to make this work, we need to have this. That was where I was coming from at that time. And it worked, but I think eventually, then we moved to Germany. I don't know, eventually it kind of wasn't as important anymore, for whatever reason. I don't know why, but my child was born. I mean, we went to church with her as well, maybe until around 3.
This is the same child who's an actor too?
No, the oldest one. The youngest one is the actor, and she's never been to church really. Yeah.
So you didn't force?
No. And then eventually I got into the whole Buddhist meditation thing, so I finally kind of didn't. The focus was off of going to church. I don't remember really why. We just didn't go anymore. But I never really. My belief was always. The belief was there, but the dogma part of it was beginning to be questioned, and like, okay, well, all of these things, but I don't even know if this is even valid or whatever. So there was stuff going on.
Let me actually share some of my experience too. I think my struggle has been the idea of belonging. Say you go to a church. If you go to church, you shake hands with a couple of people, rest just look at you. You don't know them. You might know it's John Smith. He pays $500,000 annually, etc. But nothing beyond that. Or if they have some sort of men's morning, what do they call breakfast, depending on what denomination. And you go there and somebody read to say, well, how was your week? Up lows and highs. Right? But the connection is not genuine. The connection is not there that you could count on. For example, if this has happened to me, I lost my wallet abroad. And I had to think, whom can I call? Who will send me to Grant without creating an excuse? That's sincerity. That's they say a friend in need is a friend indeed. Historically or biblically, that's what the church was. The Book of Acts of the New Testament. But I still struggle to find those. Like you text somebody, and if they're going to reply to you after a month or after days, that's the usual trend. Then you can't really put your trust in that person to think, oh my God, he or she or they as a group will be through thick and thin.
Mhm.
I've even noticed, like I was living alone in a different state and went through a surgery. People were really great in sending cards, and then they'll send soup and food for a couple of days. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you can't walk or can't do anything for 2 weeks, after those 2 days,
Yeah.
you're on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, in my case, I did not have my immediate family there.
Mhm.
Right. So I always questioned, what if someone does not have their family? Because there are a lot of people who don't have their immediate family and who don't have that support system. Yeah, they'll be invited to the potluck or the worship, but after that worship, for a lot of people, Sunday afternoons are very depressing
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have anything to do.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the people who are going to watch TV. They want somebody to talk to, relate to, do something.
Mm-hmm.
But the churches I saw in 3 different states, it wasn't there because everyone is so family oriented. It's my family,
Mm-hmm.
or my extended family. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing at the weddings or Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. And maybe I was surprised because I came from a different culture. Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
these events, this is the time you're in your PJs, you stay at home, you eat a lot, and then you sleep, eat. But you don't think about those people who might be coming to your church and might not have anyone to spend time with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's this idea to me, going to a church is something I don't really care for anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I need a house of worship
Mm-hmm.
to worship, there's tons of ways you can do that now.
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah. Sure.
And
Yeah.
so if the idea is the biblical church, which is there for you through thick and thin, then I might be interested, where I feel welcomed for who I am, not what I have in terms of, do I have an adult baptism? Do I have a membership?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have the same kind of vision or belief system? Then why should I?
Mm.
So I when you said it just dies, I think I tried to go to a couple of churches in Manhattan, but it was the same.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was very fake, because people who are behind the altar, it's their job, paid in the US the way it is. All these churches, these ministers, elders, deacons, they are on a pay roll, and for them it's a career. For
Yeah.
them it's whether or not it was a call, but right now it's all about how much incentives I'm getting and how much I'm paid, and that's it. And after 5 p.m., it's not my job.
Yeah.
It's not like Les Mis,
Yeah.
Bishop, right?
Yeah.
And that's why the belief is there, as you mentioned, in my case too. And once in a while, of course, like as a tradition at a Christmas, or I'll suit up and go.
Mm.
But it's not, that's something I'm going to do
Yeah.
weekly.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of stopped going before I knew all of the stuff that we've been talking about. But now, because I don't take these spiritual texts literally, I don't take them as historical texts. I take them as a symbolic spiritual guide that can never be stamped out. Like, even if there was some kind of movement that's like, okay, we got to get rid of like all the spiritual texts and stuff, but like there's elements of the Bible that you can't really ever get rid of because it's all written in code in a way, So I think that's what makes these spiritual texts last forever, because they're symbolic masterpieces that most people wouldn't be able to understand what they're talking about, sorry, I keep losing my train of thought because
It's okay.
because like we're just talking about so many different things.
No, it's
and
we
and I
were
don't get to
talking
talk about it that much.
No, yeah, I get it. I think we were talking about you leaving the church. That was before
Right.
you guys
So-
moved to Germany.
Right. So
Yeah.
so now, like, if I go listen to some sermon and it's a literal interpretation of a highly symbolic text, I can, if I go to be a part of the family. Like when I go to see my family, I will go to church once in a while with them, just to be with them, not because I'm gonna get something from this guy up there, because I don't, maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Yeah, sure.
I don't mean to judge him like I'm gonna come in there and he's not gonna say anything interesting. Maybe he will,
Yeah.
but usually.
Like you were not sure.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What you're gonna get? Out
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
This today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going because otherwise I'm gonna go to hell. Which is kind of how I grew up. You don't go, okay, then you don't go to heaven. And that.
It's the attendance.
Yeah. You gotta.
Yeah.
So now, but that religion is easy. Like, if you want to talk about religion, the religion that I follow now is hard because every thought you have to sort of account for it.
But there's another religion. I think it's in the book of James, right? And I think that's the hardest, which a lot of people or groups who call themselves Christians don't do that. Do you know the verse I'm talking
Which
about?
one are you referring
In
to?
James, he says, the religion that's pleasing to God is to care for widows and orphans. Is that the way it is?
Yeah. I know which one. I know kind of where you're talking about. Yeah.
So that's a religion which a lot of, I think, faith-based groups just overlook. Because first of all, the term, as we were talking earlier, the term changes the concept. When people think of religion, especially in the evangelical or non-denominational churches, right away they think of Catholicism, or they think a set of rules and all. So there's this thing like, oh my God, religion is bad. But I think the apostle, when he's using this term, you know more than me, he's using by telling the quote unquote religious people, Pharisees type, that it's not important for you to do whatever you do 7 times pray. You gotta have a good heart for orphans and people in need, I would say, because in those days, I'm assuming women did not have identities, and if there was a widow or divorcee, then she had no respect in the community. That's why I think the Book of Acts focuses on widows and women a lot. Yeah. So it's just because you use the term religion, we have been using the term religion. It has been used in the Bible in that manner, that the religion that's pleasing to God is when you do these good deeds, right?
Yeah.
And which is often overlooked by many groups these days.
And usually those good deeds are, like, if taken literal, and it also works literally. I mean, there are things that most people don't want to do. Take care of the orphans, take care of these things,
Right.
You want to go out and save people. You want to go out and do this and that, and that's God's work, but you don't want to do this.
Because it's a buffet type Christianity, if you will. And because what's convenient to me, if I was a leader of a church, that's what I've been talking about, and the whole congregation is just then following the leader. And then it ends up sometimes becoming a denomination focused on a particular thing. And it's convenient to say, go and be fed or be well. Your soul is saved. Than to be with someone like Mother Teresa. I once heard from someone telling on TV that he went to see her because he wanted to donate something, and the smell and the stink of these people who were, I don't know, they had some sort of disease. It was just unbearable, and he was like, I was surprised. How does she stay among them? That's something not easy, right?
Not easy.
But I would call that a good deed, an example of living out the faith,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or example of living out the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
The gospel is also the term is used a lot in
Mm-hmm.
maybe in the Baptist church.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So the gospel, which means good news. What's the good news for those who are lepers? Because these kind of people who were struggling with leprosy, I don't know, first of all, where Mother Teresa was, what kind of disease they had, but those were similar to probably the lepers in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And living among them
Mhm.
and ministering to them,
Mm.
it might be very difficult.
Mm. Yeah. I don't know much about her situation other than who she was, but I don't know like the day-to-day stuff.
I don't know either, but I know that she was working in India, and
But I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you traveled there?
I haven't. I was supposed to go. It was 9/11. We were supposed to go on a vacation there to Rajasthan, and it was the October after September 11th, and so nobody was traveling, so we didn't go. And then I never made it there, but I do want to go there.
Because I used to be fascinated because of the Indian movies and music, and then I learned like it's not the way you see in the movies.
Yeah.
And also, it's a gigantic country, right? So different cultures and stuff.
Yeah, I have to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
To New York.